They might be bipedal robots piloted by humans, but don't call them mechs. They're armored cores. The series has trudged through many systems with regular sequels and side stories, hitting the current generation once more with Armored Core 5. Can the latest iteration make a mark by shifting its focus to online play?
Energy at 30%.
War springs eternal. Various factions are doing what they do best, blasting each other to Kingdom Come. Most missions offer limited context to the current sortie by identifying enemies and objectives, while the key conquests feature frontline voices prattling through voice comms, but the overall output is both melodramatic and inane.
Better take off the kitty gloves if you want to engage them. These guys are bad news.
There is no sense of your pilot's identity or of those faceless voices reading the wooden script. Ongoing rebellions, commanders with names like Father, and large chunks of anecdotal drivel provide low-grade fuel for an ineffectual propaganda machine, providing a clumsy and tedious backdrop for futuristic battles.
Energy at severely damaged. Take evasive action.
Armored Core's story and sortie missions can be played offline, but the game emphasizes connected gameplay. A human teammate can accompany you on any mission, making the challenging multi-part operations you'll sometimes encounter much more survivable. In order to secure help, you must form or join a team, which opens up the door to competitive play, persistent territory scuffles against other teams, mock battles, and more, shaping this experience into something resembling an MMO with a number of complexities. Armored Core 5 is not a friendly game. The manual is thin and in-game documentation is terse, leaving the brunt of comprehension on the community's shoulders. Joining a team online opens up more options as well as automatic updates from your teammates as they go about their business, and also throws everyone into a party chat channel. With teams supporting many members, clutter can make it a challenge to find the information you actually want.
Oh, okay, no, I live on the East Coast, so I have to go check my email.
Regardless if you play solo or in a team, expect to replay missions to earn cash or complete sub-objectives, which can net even more money, team points, and even unlockable weapons and parts. Customizing your Armored Core or AC runs the full gamut, from picking out exacting details on what sorts of guns or legs to use, agonizing over stats all the while, to painting your AC and dropping a tramp stamp on the chassis. Again, documentation is poor, and it can take a while to figure out what should be simple concepts like weight load and the rock-paper-scissors balance of the weapon and armor system. An overly complicated design will likely require newcomers to visit message boards just to get up and running, and there's no in-game venue for swapping war stories and pickup tricks of the trade. There are a lot of technical hurdles to overcome before getting into the good stuff, such as creative and often gigantic mechanized bosses. It's rough going to start, but those willing to brave the expanse will find a gripping, if convoluted, simulation-style experience not often found on consoles. Piloting the game's hulking machines ends up being simpler than navigating its extensive menus. Actually, the ACs you'll be piloting aren't so massive, and even a tanked-out bruiser has the agility to dart across gullies or through side streets. Still, despite the familiar third-person control schemes and humanoid appearance, don't expect controlling an AC to feel like slipping on a second skin. The ACs are powerful machines, capable of gliding through debris-riddled streets, shifting to scan mode to recover spent energy while scoping out the opposition by jettisoning a recon droid. Locations offer buildings to scale, alleys to duck into, and water to float over, providing interesting tactical possibilities for avoidance and ambush. Your combat efficiency depends on your setup. Your stats govern turning speed, boosting ability, battery recharge time, and so forth. The basic controls remain the same, but you'll need to adjust for the feel of your specific machine. Failure in either setup or execution will yield disastrous results. There's a lot of focus on performing graceful maneuvers with bulky, powerful machines. Weaving in and out of fire to land a punishing kick takes tactical skill, while knowing one's enemies gives you an idea of what weapons or systems to equip to avoid seeing the ineffectual indicator flashing on your HUD. Most enemies follow simple routines, with a few surprises saved for AC duels and set pieces like armored trains. Story missions let you call in a remote workshop to patch injuries, restock ammo, and swap out weapons, so even a blunder can be recovered without restarting the machine outright. Team play raises the strategic stakes, with 5-on-5 fights allowing one member to play as the operator, a non-combative eye in the sky that can mark targets and offer advice. Even without an operator, pre-planning is encouraged since you're able to set waypoints and positioning before the battle begins. The learning curve is brutal, and with the controls often feeling at odds with the subtle math powering them. Improving your skills lets you earn money to access kitted out cores, which then allow you to hit enemies that much harder. Until you get the hang of things, you can expect to spend some time in a hoversuit, offering some reconnaissance assistance to more competent mechanized team members. The ACs are far more detailed than Transformer toys and far less repugnant, coming across as no-nonsense archetypes. Swapping parts is almost always more a matter of function. The 8 main environments are dotted with wreckage and Blade Runner-esque floating televisions, but somehow manage to feel as sterile as the ACs. Even though the environments factor heavily into gameplay, the settings are drab with few standout features. Explosions and weapon effects don't feel very dynamic, and the game can struggle to keep up with the action, with the soundtrack sometimes being knocked offline. Small actions like switching menus can cause disproportionately long load times, and the game suffers frequent mission-killing bugs. The music is moody, mixing in piano with synth, while the voice actors do their best with the script, trying to self-distinguish.
We're both just pathetic souls doing the only thing we're capable of.
From Software has created a functional base from which to launch its lofty online dreams, but whether or not it will succeed depends on support from the developers and a player community. A self-selective franchise, the shrinking fanbase that quibbles over the addition and subtraction of features will ultimately be the deciding factor of Armored Core's online health. There's a high bar to entry, but with the Chromehound server shuttered, it's the only game in town for couch-based mech combat.